Writing front-end code that's easy to understand and easy to change is challenging, especially with JavaScript. But is TypeScript really the better solution? In my previous videos, I experimented with WebAssembly using C# and Rust. And the Rust approach looked very promising. But this time, I think I found an even better alternative. Fable. It's not another web framework. It's a compiler that claims to generate JavaScript you can be proud of. So let's repeat the experiment, this time with Fable, and see how it goes. We use the same code as in the previous experiments, a simple cache implementation. It stores parsed JSON objects in memory and backs them up in session storage, removing the least recently used item once the cache limit is reached. This cache is then used to build a cache adapter for the Axos Ajax library, so server responses are cached in the browser, completely transparent to the application logic. Did I actually mention what Fable compiles? It takes F# as input, one of the most expressive languages I know. If you are new to F#, the functional programming language of the .NET platform, don't worry, it's not scary at all, as I explained in this video. Alright, let's dive in. We start the experiment by creating a new F# project. Before implementing the actual cache, we set up a small walking skeleton with a simple hello world. This breaks the work into small increments and ensures we always have a running system. If something breaks, the change is tiny, which makes finding and fixing bugs much easier. To integrate an F# module into an existing web app using Fable, we install the Fable plugin for Vite. Then we add the plugin to the Vite config and point it to the new F# project. Finally, we import the F# file directly into our web app, just like a regular JavaScript module. When we now run the app, we can see that our first Fable prototype works. With the basics in place, we can start the real experiment. Following the idea of file-based imports, we create a dedicated module for the cache by renaming the library fs to cachefs. For the cache implementation, we need some JavaScript and browser interop, so we add a few Fable packages. Fable core for basic JavaScript interop and Fable browser DOM for browser bindings like session storage. We also add Fable simple JSON for working with JSON objects. Now we are ready to implement the cache in F#. Since functional programming separates data from logic, we start with a record for the cache state. Then we add the private functions, because in F#, functions must be declared before they are used. The public API mirrors the JavaScript logic. Cache values are typed as object because we support any JSON-compatible object. For the get API, we return an option type, which Fable automatically converts to null if it has no value. And we can even use the F# printfn function directly, which Fable translates into console.log. We finish the implementation with the create factory function, which returns an anonymous F# record that Fable turns into a plain JavaScript object. To use the new cache module, we simply replace the JavaScript cache import with the F# implementation. Then we replace new cache with a call to the create function of the F# cache. And that's all. The rest of the code stays the same. To demo the cache, we adjust our sample application. We add a simple button that makes an Axos call and prints the result. When we start the web app, we see that the cache module is loaded and the cache is initialized immediately. Clicking the button multiple times shows that the cache behaves exactly as expected. So far, replacing JavaScript with F# using Fable has been pretty smooth. But it gets even better. Fable also supports hot reload. If we change the F# code while the app is running, the changes are detected, recompiled, and applied immediately. But what happens when we hit an error? Do we end up with unreadable generated JavaScript code? Let's trigger an exception in the F# code and find out. In the browser, we get a proper call stack that reflects the actual F# code. It even points to the exact F# file. And when we inspect it, we see the generated JavaScript code, which is pretty readable and matches the F# code surprisingly well. That's awesome! We get a strong type system, expressive code, and predictable behavior, all without adopting TypeScript or WebAssembly. Now the project I built this experiment for already has an F# backend. So next I'll try to flip one entire application to Fable and see how that goes. This should be easy, because the project uses micro frontends architecture as explained in this video.